We're going to go ahead and rotate to the red buff. I don't think Ganesh is going to be able to secure this. Izanami is here. We're able to just kind of walk out of the Ganesh ult, and we're going to start running away. We do have our ult. We're going to go ahead and ult this Izanami. Oh no. Tsukiyomi's here. We get a basic, we're going to use our 3, get a lot of damage off, and we're able to get the pick onto him. What a do, skibbity boo, it's your boy SeanyB Gaming, and today we're going to be playing the reworked Loki. If you are new to the channel, I upload every single day. I add some commentary to a game that I've already played with the intention of seeing what went right and what went wrong, and hopefully there's something that we can learn together. If you are a returning viewer, Loki's rework is pretty nice. I feel like he's able to do a little bit more in team fights, and it wasn't too much of a trade-off compared to his old kit. So let's go ahead and go over Loki's abilities. Loki's 1 Vanish is pretty much the same as the old Vanish. Loki's going to go invisible. While he's invisible, he's going to move 35% faster. He's going to be immune to slows and remove any slows that he has on him. His next basic attack from stealth or 2 seconds after is going to apply a bleed to his target. Going to deal damage every 0.5 seconds for 2 seconds. If Loki takes damage while in stealth, he will be revealed for 0.33 seconds. Loki's 2, Agonizing Visions, is a completely new ability. Loki's going to summon a vision of himself being tortured. Enemies that stand in range of this vision are going to take damage and have their damage reduced by 5% for 2.5 seconds, and this can stack 4 times. If an enemy gets 4 stacks, they're going to become blinded and allow Loki to benefit from his passive behind you from any direction, meaning that you can crit the enemy from any direction. Loki's 3, Flurry Strike, is also a brand new ability. Loki's going to unleash a flurry of 5 strikes, and then he's going to wind up for a final strike. This final strike is going to deal higher levels of damage, and it's also going to slow the enemy by 30% for 3 seconds. This ability can benefit from behind you, meaning that if you use this ability on a target's back, it's going to be a crit, or if they have been blinded from the Agonizing Visions, any direction will also be a crit. Loki's ultimate, Assassinate, feels similar to his old ultimate but has a new twist. Loki's going to teleport to a location. If it hits an enemy, he's going to cripple them and deal damage. After teleporting, he's going to wind up for a heavier strike that is going to damage all enemies in a cone attack and stun them. The stun lasts for 1 second. And then Loki's passive, Behind You. Loki deals 20% more damage with his basic attacks when hitting an enemy from behind, and his basic attacks also utilize a 5-swing progressive chain. His first hit deals 100% of the damage, his next 3 hits deal less than 100%, and then his 5th hit deals more than 100%. This is going to be important whenever we talk about auto attack canceling. We were able to rotate left and clean up this Izanami. We saw that our teammates were getting pressured a little too much, so we decided to rotate over and put some pressure on Izanami. Luckily, we had enough damage to get her. So with Loki, the leveling order, we're going to want to put a point into our 3. Then at level 2, it's kind of up to you. I like to put a point into my 1 so I can go invisible, hit somebody, get some damage off. You could use your 2 to help get some lane pressure. So we completed a rotation. We're going to go ahead and back, pick up our tier 2 boots. Tier 2 boots are going to give us a little bit of power, a little bit of movement speed. With Loki, since you are 35% faster while stealth, you're always going to want to stealth while leaving the fountain. It's going to allow you to get to jungle a little bit quicker. We are going to basic attack, use our 2 basic attack, use our 3. So we talked about this earlier in his passive. Loki has the progressive chain on his auto attacks. His first basic attack is going to deal 100% damage, but then his next 3 are not. So unless you plan on going through the entire attack chain to get that final hit, you should probably just use the first basic attack. Whenever we basic attack and we use an ability, it's going to reset our attack chain so that our next basic attack is going to be the first basic attack in the attack chain, dealing 100% of the damage. We want to do this on enemy gods and on camps. It's really going to help us with our clear time. So we're kind of playing it a little careful. We're going to go the back way. Stealth from a bit of range, so hopefully she can't hear us. She's under tower, so we're just going to rotate straight to her red buff. Her red buff should be spawning pretty soon, and maybe we're waiting a little too long for it right here. We know it's coming up. We're thinking about leaving. Poseidon stays on it. We're going to come back, try to help him out. Tsukiyomi is rotating from mid. We're going to use R2, create a little bit of zoning. Go in, get a basic attack off, use R3. He's going for Poseidon. We're going to do our best to provide a little bit of heal. He's backing up, so now we're going to try to retreat. The enemy team was rotating from left. They were able to get Poseidon, so now we're just going to run for it. A little unfortunate, we kind of sold our Poseidon right there. But we are able to secure both reds. Now we're going to rotate back, get our harpies, and if we look above our health bar, we have two little speed buffs. One is from the Jungler's Blessing, and then the other is our actual speed buff. Whenever the one on the right, or the larger numbered speed buff counter, is about at 20, that means if you back by an item and then start making your way to speed, you should be back right as the speed camp is about to respawn. So if you're ever wondering when your speed's about to be up, just look above your health bar and that should give you a good estimate. Basic, ability, basic, other ability, followed by a basic. And we're able to clear the camp pretty quickly. We're going to go ahead and rotate to the blue buff. Soul has a lot of high pressure in solo lane. I'm not sure if she'll be able to make it back here for this. We would try to put some pressure on Osiris, except for he's so far under his tower. Come in, basic attack ability, basic attack. You guys get the gist. We do have our ultimate now. We're gonna kind of see if we can get eyes on anyone. The Morgan is in mid. We're just going to hang out right here until she steps up out of her tower line to pressure the minion wave. Killing a little bit of time, but I think it's going to be worth it. We are able to ult her, and Poseidon is able to clean her up with his ultimate. So me and the Poseidon are in comps together. That's maybe why that looks so coordinated. We're going to go ahead and invade their red buff. Tsukiyomi is in right, pressuring Soul. We're on the left side of the jungle. There's not too much that we're going to be able to do to help her out. We're just going to rotate to our red buff, try to maximize our farm. In terms of the leveling order, you're going to want to max out your 3, max out your ult whenever you can, max out your 1, and then max out your 2. If you're playing Loki as a non-jungle, so in either solo lane or carry, I think you would want to max out your 2 first, because that would allow you to clear the minions really effectively. Plus the 2 is a very large zoning ability. If you throw the 2 on the enemy minions, the enemy god is not really going to be able to step up and cast an ability in a straight line onto your minions. Went against a Loki support yesterday and it was quite annoying how effective that 2 was in lane. We are able to get the speed buff. We're going to start our rotation. It looks like the Morgan used her ultimate to transform into Poseidon. There's 2 people in mid. Ganesh rotated right. I do want to point out, this Ganesh had some good rotations this game. We're going to activate our 2, start getting some damage. Osiris ults up and then straight down. We're going to use our ultimate, and we're able to get the pick onto him. So whenever we ult, the first hit is going to cripple them, and then we're going to have a cone attack that can stun. You can change the direction of the cone attack, but most of the time you're kind of just going to want to let it hit the target who you hop behind. If they are in a group, you might want to try to angle it a little bit. On the solo target, you're probably not going to change the angle. We use our invisibility, get a basic attack off, and Poseidon is able to clean up the Morgan. With Loki, another little tip is if you go invisible and you use your 2, that's going to cancel your visibility. So I do not think that your next basic attack is going to apply that poison. If you go invisible, you're going to want to get that basic attack off before activating your 2. In terms of the build, we went with Jungler's Blessing, we went tier 1 of the Crusher, and then we went into Warrior Tabi. We complete Warrior Tabi, and then we're going to be completing the Crusher. The Crusher is going to provide us 30 power, 20% attack speed, and 15 pen. It has a passive that if you damage an enemy with an ability, you're going to deal an additional 20 physical damage, plus 15% of your power over 2 seconds. Ganesh is pretty weak, but I think he's able to make it out. We're going to go ahead and back because our speed is about to respawn. And now that we have the Crusher, we have a little bit of a power spike. We're going to go ahead and pick up a ward or two and a health potion. Use our invisibility to leave Fountain. Now we're going to make our way back to lane. Poseidon's in a bit of a tricky spot. Looks like SeanyB is able to clean him up. Ganesh should be able to hold mid while we do our jungling. Osiris is on our blue. Probably try to help out. We're going to go invisible. The Morgan's a little out of place. We get a basic, we get our combo off, and we're able to clean up the Morgan. Since she was running away, we were able to use our 3 on her back, which was applying Loki's passive, the backstab. So we did a little 20% extra damage right there. Soul's able to clean up Osiris. We wanted to rotate just in case he was able to get away, or if he ulted away. We're going to come over, clear the mid harpies, and Poseidon should be rotating up to mid. We should be able to help him with this lane, kind of split the farm right here. And then the enemy red buff should be up pretty soon. We're going to go ahead and start working on the red buff. There's 2 people in mid on the enemy team. We're going to put another point into our 1, go invisible, aiming for the Morgan. We get a basic off, it's going to apply the poison, and Poseidon's able to clean her up with his ultimate. Now it's just Ganesh left in mid. We're going to go ahead and throw our 2 on the minion wave and then rotate to our red buff. Soul calls for help, so we're going to try to rotate over and help her. We have 3 people rotating onto 2 people. Hopefully we'll be able to clean up at least one of them. SeanyB goes down. It looks like he stopped moving. I think he actually disconnects right here for a little bit, but he does return. We're going to go invisible. Get a basic off, use our 3. We miss a lot of damage on our 3. We don't really have the mana right here. We're going to go ahead and use our ultimate. Either we missed our stun or he started ulting and he had CC immunity, so he did not get stunned. After going into the Crusher, we're going to be going into Hydra's Lament. Hydra's Lament is going to provide us 40 power, 10% cooldown reduction, and 10 MP5. It has 2 passives, the first one being for 8 seconds after using an ability. The next basic attack will deal an additional 40% damage, and the second passive is you're going to gain 2.5 MP5 per 10% of your missing mana. So it's going to help you with your mana, and it's also going to make it to where you deal additional basic attack damage after using an ability. So this auto attack canceling that we've been doing, it's going to work really well with Hydra's Lament. Ability, basic attack, and then that basic attack is going to deal additional damage. Ability, basic attack. I think there is a cooldown, but Hydra's is still a really good item on Loki. Soul's in mid, so Osiris is probably going to get a little bit of lane pressure. We use our invisibility from a distance. We miss our 1 out of, or a basic attack out of stealth. Poseidon uses his ultimate. Right here, we think we have our ultimate. If we used our 2, we would have gotten her. I think that's just old habits. Loki's ult 2 wouldn't deal damage until it popped. So I probably subconsciously was like, oh, I don't have an ability, even though I could have used my 2 to prevent her from backing. Maybe even just get the damage straight up to get the pick on her. So that was a pick that we should have had that we just lost. We're going to go ahead and drop these oracles. We drop the enemy red buff. Our red buff is now on a delayed timer, meaning that we can't hit the enemy red buff and then just rotate to our red buff. There, SeanyB returns. Looks like we're about to lose our mid tower. Our speed's going to be up in 25 seconds. So we're probably going to clear this camp and then back. We're going to pick up Hydras. And then for our second relic, we're going to be going into Aegis. Just taking a look at the enemy team comp. They don't really have a ton of CC. We want the Aegis for the SeanyB ult, for the Izanami ult, for the Ganesh ult, and then pretty much for whoever the Morgan transforms into. We have slow immunity built into our kit, so we don't need beads for any kind of slow. They don't have a whole lot of CC. They have the Morgan Sun, a Ganesh, Root / Knockup, Izanami Slow, which we can avoid, Tsukiyomi Stun, and a Osiris Stun. So as long as we don't get stunned, we'll be fine. Two people over here, we're going to see if we can help out. We use our ultimate, we get the stun on the Tsukiyomi. We are able to get the pick on the Tsukiyomi. Taking a look for this Osiris, we can't quite find him. We see somebody creeping through mid. That's just a clone of the Morgan. We know that there's weak people over here, so we're kind of still hanging about. We're going to go ahead and hit this Harpy. We hear an Osiris ability, so we know he's still around. And we know he's probably very weak. Same situation as last time. I could have used my 2 to prevent him from backing and then gotten the pick, but I just did not do that. I remember being very upset at that, and then realizing I could have used my 2 to get a pick there. So that's 2 kills we could have had that we just didn't. We were able to get the basic onto the Morgan, use our 3 and clean her up. Ganesh goes down. We're going to go ahead and rotate to the enemy red buff. Get a little bit of damage off of it, use our ability. Izanami is very far pushed up in the left lane. We're going to go ahead and rotate over. We don't know where, oh, there she is. Basic attack, use our 3. We're going to use our 2, kind of wiggle around a little bit. Looks like on her is going to be able to clean it up. Oh, we missed our ultimate. We didn't need ult right there. On her totally had that. We could have saved our ultimate. A little bit of a misplay there. Tsukiyomi's pressuring Poseidon and mid. Don't know how much we're going to be able to help him out. In fact, we're just going to back, and then we're going to be going into Arondight. Arondight is going to provide 75 power and 10% cooldown. After you use your ultimate, it's going to reveal all enemy gods within 120 units for 8 seconds. While moving towards enemies, you're going to gain 30% movement speed, and your next basic attack on an enemy that has been revealed is going to deal 40 damage plus 30% of your power. This can only occur once every 45 seconds. So whenever you use your ultimate with Loki, you're going to cripple them, use your cone attack to get the stun, and then you should be able to get a basic attack off relatively easy. However, if you're using Loki's ultimate to disappear or to like run away from an enemy, this item is not going to be very helpful for you. So if you're using your ultimate to engage, Arondight is a great item, but if you're reserving your ultimate to just get away from bad situations, then you would not want to go into Arondight. In the old Loki, a lot of high-level Loki players would just save his ultimate for an escape, so Arondight in that situation was a very bad buy. However, after this rework, I feel like the stun, and the like 2-part stun, it basically is doing the same as the old ultimate, except for now it has a little bit more of counterplay. The enemy gets crippled before they get stunned, so they have a chance to beads it, and the damage is kind of split into 2 parts instead of just a single really high damaging ult. We have terrible positioning right here. We're just running around, not being very effective. We're going to go ahead and rotate to the red buff. I don't think Ganesh is going to be able to secure this. Izanami is here. We're able to just kind of walk out of the Ganesh ult, and we're going to start running away. We do have our ult. We're going to go ahead and ult this Izanami. Oh no. Tsukiyomi's here. We get a basic. We're going to use our 3, get a lot of damage off, and we're able to get the pick onto him. The team fight is still going on. This is not the best fight for us because we don't have a whole lot of health. We pop a health potion. Osiris has thorns on and he tethers us, so we're going to step outside of his tether. We're going to use our 3, use our backstab. We think about backing, but I don't know why this Osiris is still fighting into this, so we just rotate back and we're able to clean him up. Soul's able to get the Pyromancer. I accidentally click my 3 while trying to back. I definitely would have backed there. My speed is up. I would have just let Poseidon and on her get this red buff, but since I misclicked, I'm going to go ahead and help out. After going into Arondight, we're going to be going into Heartseeker. Heartseeker is going to provide 65 power, 200 mana, 20 MP5, and 10% physical penetration. There is a cap of 40% penetration. Heartseeker's passive, your abilities deal an additional 3% of the target's maximum health as physical damage. If you have over 200 physical power, your ability bonus damage scales up. This effect reaches a maximum of 6% maximum health damage at 400 physical power. Subsequent hits on the same target do 75% bonus damage for the next 3 seconds. So we're going to rotate to mid. We have Osiris behind us. He tethers us. We're going to use our invisibility to get some more distance and break that tether. With Loki, we just want to pick our fights carefully. If we have all of our abilities, we're probably pretty good for a fight. We're able to get the pick onto the Izanami, and the enemy team surrenders. Well, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. That really helps these videos out. If you feel like you learned anything at all, check out the channel and subscribe for more content. Thank you for stopping by. These stats will be posted in just a moment. Have a great day. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.